Discover the incredible moment a single dad transformed a female CEO's wedding experience forever. Jake sat on the edge of his daughter Emma's bed, the soft glow of a nightlight casting comforting shadows around the room. And that's when the little engine realized, it didn't matter how big it was, what mattered was how hard it tried. He emphasized, seeing the spark of inspiration light up Emma's eyes. His heart swelled, knowing he was teaching her more than just words. He was handing down a legacy of resilience, one bedtime story at a time. But that legacy came at a cost. As a 35-year-old single father hustling through 2 jobs, delivering packages by day and fixing leaky faucets by night, Jake bore the weight of financial strain with unyielding determination. He thought of his small apartment filled with toys scattered carelessly, remnants of Emma's wild imagination. At times, the tightness in his chest felt that it might overwhelm him. Yet, he always pushed through, reminding himself of the warmth in Emma's laughter and the bond they shared. Meanwhile, across town, Lily, a confident CEO with a dazzling portfolio, was deep in the throes of wedding planning. She thought everything would be perfect. The grand venue, designer gown, and an extravagant guest list seemed to define success in her world. But as the clock ticked down to the big day, loneliness gnawed at her spirit. Behind the veneer of her lavish lifestyle was a yearning for something real, something she felt slipping away amidst the chaos. Their worlds collided when Lily hired Jake to coordinate the intricate details of her wedding. Their first meeting crackled with tension. Lily, with her polished executive manner, barely glanced up from her planner, while Jake, in worn jeans and a faded t-shirt, couldn't mask his disdain for the superficial atmosphere. "I hope you understand how important this day is," she said, her tone warm but detached. Jake nodded but thought of the struggles of parents who worked hard just to make memories on a budget. As weeks passed, Jake and Lily found themselves sharing more than just wedding details. Their late-night phone calls transformed into conversations filled with hopes and fears. Lily spoke of her dream to create genuine relationships in her life, and Jake openly shared how every penny he earned was a testament to his love for Emma. They discovered a shared aspiration for authenticity, something neither knew they craved until they found it in each other. Then the storm clouds gathered. Budget cuts threatened to decimate the plans, directly impacting Emma's chance to be a flower girl. Jake felt the weight of disappointment smothering his spirit, the thought of Emma's sad face twisting his gut. In an earnest moment, he suggested, "Why not turn this into something meaningful? A smaller wedding filled with love and family, something we can be proud of." Lily paused. It was as if a light bulb flickered above her head, igniting the possibilities of what a wedding could truly mean. Together, they forged a new path, fighting against societal expectations and forging a bond through shared values of love and community. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the wedding day dawned, the air buzzed with excitement, yet undercurrents of anxiety slithered through. Jake stood at the altar, heart pounding, filled with hope and dread. Had they truly bridged the divide between their worlds? Just as Lily walked toward him, her dress flowing like waves of satin, an uninvited guest barged through the doors. Unsettling applause turned to gasps. The atmosphere crackled. Jake and Lily's newfound connection hung in the balance as tension soared. Would they be able to navigate this unforeseen storm together, or would their worlds remain divided forever? The uninvited guests strode into the venue, an unexpected whirlwind of chaos and emotion. It was Lily's estranged brother, Chris, the one family member who had always seemed to slip through the cracks. Dressed in a wrinkled suit, and with shadows under his eyes, he looked out of place against the backdrop of floral arrangements and twinkling lights. Lily froze mid-step, her breath catching in her throat. Jake felt the tension blast through the air like static. He exchanged a worried glance with Lily, unsure of how to react. "What are you doing here?" She managed to stutter, her voice trembling as Chris ambled toward her. I came to make things right, Chris said, his tone wavering between bravado and vulnerability. A harsh whisper spread through the guests, as murmurs of disbelief and concern rippled across the crowd. Jake didn't know the history, but he could see the storm brewing in Lily's eyes. The joy that had been building for months was now overshadowed by confusion and hurt. He stepped forward, instinctively wanting to protect her. This is not the time or place for this, he asserted, his heart racing. Lily shook her head lightly, her voice wavering. No, wait, Jake. Maybe we need to hear him out. Chris looked taken aback, as if the very idea that she would still consider his words worth listening to was a feat in itself. I've messed things up before, Lily, but I want to be here for you today. For your wedding. Jake bit his lip, wrestling with his instinct to shield Lily from more pain and her obvious desire to remove the cloak of discomfort hanging between them. It was a delicate dance of family ties and buried emotions, and it felt like something inside of her was fraying. Everyone held their breath, the silence thick enough to choke on. Lily's face twisted with conflict. Memories washed over her of a brother who had both supported her and hurt her, a contrasting mix that defined their relationship. You left me when I needed you most, she whispered, her voice flickering with emotion. Why now? As the world around them faded, Jake took a step back, unsure of how involved he ought to be. This wasn't just a wedding anymore. It was a reckoning under the weight of shared history. Yet, deep down, he sensed a lesson about forgiveness was brewing. A lesson about family. Because I see you. I see everything you've achieved, and I'm proud of you, Chris replied, determination replacing the uncertainty on his face. I know I've been a ghost in your life. I want to find a way back. In that moment, Jake watched as the struggles of their past collided with the hopes for the future, creating a tension so palpable it felt like the space between them might shatter. Would Lily be able to let go of old wounds enough to embrace this moment of vulnerability? Could Chris mend the rift that had long divided them? Jake couldn't shake the feeling that they were all standing on the precipice of something profound. He took a deep breath. Things felt like they were unraveling, yet in that unraveling lay the promise of healing, of understanding, and ultimately, love. Just as Lily opened her mouth to respond, the sound of Emma's laughter erupted from the side, breaking the heavy silence. The sight of her daughter, clutching a small basket of petals more crooked than regal, reminded Jake that no moment truly existed in isolation. They were all connected, bound by threads of past choices and future hopes. But as he watched Lily's eyes shift from Chris to Emma, he couldn't help but understand that the real question now was, what kind of love would she choose to embrace? As emotions swirled like a tempest, Jake realized the true test of their connection was just beginning. Would they come together, stronger than before, or would the past tear them apart, leaving scars that might never heal? Lily's heart raced as she absorbed Chris's words. The fight within her ignited like a flame, pushing aside years of silence and resentment. Part of her yearned to embrace this moment of vulnerability, the brother she had longed for amid the pain, while another part screamed to shield herself from the hurt he'd caused. Why now? She repeated, her voice barely a whisper. Why today of all days? Chris rubbed the back of his neck, a nervous gesture she remembered all too well. Because it's important for me to be here for you to be the brother you deserve. I was scared, Lily. I didn't know how to support you when you needed it most. But today, I want to try. The crowd around them shifted, breath held in collective anticipation, the tension buzzing in the air. Every eye was glued to the reunion that had turned the celebration on its head. Jake stood silently, caught in the crosshairs of the moment. He wanted to comfort Lily, but he also sensed that this was her battle to fight. Do you have any idea how much you hurt me? Lily's voice broke slightly, but the strength behind her words cut through the murmurings. You disappeared when things got tough. I was left to pick up the pieces, alone. Tears glistened in her eyes. Jake noticed. He reached out, wanting nothing more than to pull her into an embrace, but he restrained himself. This was a moment between siblings, one that promised to shift the tides of long-held grudges. I know, Chris replied earnestly, stepping closer. I was a coward. I thought you were better off without me. But I see now I just made things worse. I'm sorry. The sincerity in his eyes made Lily hesitate. The truth loomed like a specter between them, dark yet illuminating. You can't just waltz back into my life, Chris. I'm marrying Jake, and I need to focus on my future, not our past. Your wedding, Chris trailed off, glancing at Jake. I should have reached out sooner, but I thought you wouldn't want me there. I just didn't know how to face you after everything. There was a flicker of hope in his eyes, mixed with the fear of being rejected once again. It was a look so deeply human that Jake's heart ached for both of them. Family was complicated, and watching the churning emotions unfold felt like witnessing a storm powerful yet dangerous. As Lily wrestled with her feelings, Emma's laughter danced joyfully through the crowd again, a sweet interlude that momentarily softened the harsh edges of the confrontation. She was climbing a small mound of rose petals, her face alight with mischief. "Mommy! Look!" Emma shouted, pointing excitedly. "I made a flower mountain." Lily's expression softened as she turned to watch her daughter, a wave of maternal warmth washing over her. The simple delight in Emma's voice cut through the heaviness, reminding her of the importance of hope and new beginnings. Maybe Chris's voice was cautious, breaking through her reverie. "Maybe we could start over? Not for the past, but for the future. For Emma." The sound of that name hung in the air, tinged with sweetness and pain. Contemplating the weight of Chris's suggestion, Lily weighed her options. She understood the delicacy of the moment. Could she afford to extend that olive branch, setting aside her fears along with years of hurt? As the crowd around them began to reconnect, whispering to one another with their glasses raised, ready to celebrate again, Jake moved closer to Lily. Their eyes met, and he saw the storm of emotion swirling inside her. "Do you want me to step in?" he asked softly, the warmth of his voice encasing her, providing safety. Lily took a moment, allowing the question to sink in. She could hear Emma's laughter in the background, and it resonated within her. Could she find the strength to accept a new road ahead? Before she could answer, a sudden rustle erupted from the entrance. Everyone turned in unison, and the moment shifted. A woman stepped forward, her presence commanding the room's attention. "Is this where the wedding is?" she declared with surprising charm, a knowing smile on her face that said that she was no stranger to these kinds of gatherings. Lily felt her heart skip, caught between an unresolved family affair and an unexpected twist that seemed poised to break the tension. What was about to unfold as another twist revealed itself? The woman who had just walked in was striking. She had an easy confidence, her dark hair cascading around her shoulders like a waterfall. Her electric smile lit up the room, and curiosity rippled through the crowd. Lily felt the weight of her own emotions shift, a new current pulling her in a different direction. "Who is she?" Jake whispered, glancing over at Lily, his brow furrowing in concern. "I don't know, but something about her feels familiar," Lily murmured back, trying to make sense of the sudden distraction. The woman took a few steps forward, her gaze meeting each member of the crowd with an unsettling familiarity. "I'm here for Lily. I have an important request," she called out, clearly undeterred by the hushed murmurs that followed her bold introduction. Lily felt her pulse quicken. There was something about this woman's energy that triggered memories she couldn't quite place. "Do I know you?" Lily found herself asking, her brow knitting as she tried to recall where they might have crossed paths. The stranger smiled, a glint of mischief playing at her lips. "Maybe just a little bit or a lot. But today isn't about the past," she replied smoothly. "It's about the future. Your future, more specifically." Lily's eyes narrowed as she absorbed those words. Was this woman really encroaching on her wedding day with cryptic messages and a confident presence? Pushing the memories of her own painful past aside, curiosity began to bubble up inside her. "Who are you?" she pressed, fighting against the confusion swirling in her mind. "I'm Sarah. A friend of sorts," she said, leaving the statement hanging in the air, heavy with implication. "And I'm here to talk about the missing piece of your wedding." The crowd buzzed with whispers. Chris looked between Lily and Sarah, his discomfort evident. Jake's protective instincts kicked in, moving slightly closer to Lily, wanting to shield her from this unexpected bombshell. What do you mean, the missing piece? Lily asked, her voice sharper than intended. Just that, Lily. Sometimes, life throws chaos at us, but it also offers clarity, a chance to reclaim what was lost, Sarah said cryptically. Her eyes locked onto Lily's. Lily felt a chill run down her spine. The mention of loss resonated deeply with her, reminding her of the silence that had existed between her and Chris for so long. Today is supposed to be about joy. Are you trying to disrupt it? Lily didn't know whether she was angry or intrigued, but the tension in her voice was unmistakable. Not disrupt. Enhance, Sarah emphasized, looking straight into her soul as if she could read all the pain and joy intertwined. Before Lily could respond, Emma came bounding over, oblivious to the grown-ups' drama. Mommy! Look at my flower mountain! The innocence of her daughter offered a much-needed reprieve. That fleeting moment of joy was a reminder of what truly mattered. Could Sarah really hold the key to something deeper? Sarah, if you're not careful, you'll become part of this wedding chaos, Jake interjected, his voice calm but firm. What exactly do you want? With a knowing smile that hinted at secrets untold, Sarah stepped closer. I promise, Jake, it'll be worth it. As the atmosphere thickened with uncertainty, Lily felt the world tilt again. Part of her was desperate to know what Sarah had to say, while another part recoiled at the idea of more upheaval. But deep down, she wondered if maybe, just maybe, this would be the nudge she needed to grasp her future fully. A hush fell over the crowd as they waited, almost breathless, for Sarah's next words. What revelation was about to transform everything? Let me show you how you can embrace your past while moving toward your future, Sarah offered, the spark in her eyes both unnerving and compelling. Lily instinctively felt the pull of the moment, but could she really open that door? Before she could decide, Sarah took a breath, ready to share whatever she had been holding on to. The stakes felt impossibly high. Could this stranger truly turn the tides of her special day? Lily could feel Sarah's gaze cutting deeper than the sharpest knife. It was as if the woman's words were unraveling her tightly wound thoughts. There was uncertainty in the crowd, but also a flicker of curiosity. Everyone could sense the electricity buzzing. What do you mean by embracing the past? Lily asked, her voice barely above a whisper. She barely recognized her own tone, both apprehensive and eager. Life doesn't come with a manual, Lily, Sarah began, her voice soothing yet strong. It's messy and complicated. But sometimes, it takes a stranger to remind us that we can rewrite our rules. Chris shifted, his jaw tightening. Lily saw the resolve in his face, the urge to protect their carefully crafted moment. But the rawness of Sarah's revelation was electric, pulling Lily in like a magnet. What rules are you talking about? Lily asked, desperation creeping into her voice. She could feel her heart race, a familiar panic beginning to settle in the pit of her stomach. Your wedding is not just a celebration, it's a declaration of your journey, the love you've built, and everything that has led you here, Sarah replied, her tone softening. But I'm here to remind you that you don't have to forget where you came from to celebrate where you're going. Lily felt a lump forming in her throat. Memories she hadn't acknowledged twisted and turned in her mind. The laughter of childhood, long-forgotten arguments, the disappointment of dreams that never came to fruition. Today is supposed to be a fresh start. Why would I want to drag the past back into it? She countered, her voice rising in frustration. Because real joy doesn't come from ignoring your struggles, it comes from integrating them, Sarah urged, stepping closer, her eyes wide with understanding. You have an opportunity, Lily. Not just to marry Chris, but to merge your histories, to show Emma that love includes acceptance and growth. At the mention of her daughter, Lily looked down, her heart softening at the thought of Emma's bright future. A wedding wasn't just about her and Chris, it was about showing their daughter what a strong partnership looked like, warts and all. What do you want me to do? Lily finally asked, her voice trembling slightly. Breathe, Sarah said, a serene smile gracing her face. Embrace the fear of what has to come. Share that truth with Chris, don't hide your fears or your past. Open the door to the messy pieces, and together, you can craft something beautiful. Lily's heart began to slow, clarity surging through her. There was something empowering about Sarah's words. Could she really let go of the fear? The crowd seemed to fade as the weight of Sarah's suggestion hung in the air. Jake's expression was protective, but she could see a hint of curiosity beneath. The unknown loomed, a shadow dancing at the edges of the wedding day. Okay, I'll think about it, Lily finally uttered, uncertainty mingling with newfound hope. Good. Just remember, you're not alone in this, Sarah reassured her, before stepping back, the moment of connection almost tangible. There was a shift in the atmosphere, a collective breath held by the guests witnessing this exchange. Lily felt the love surrounding her family, friends, and the promise of something more. But before she could bask in the warmth of clarity, Emma's voice broke through again. Mommy, are we going to have cake soon? Her sweet, innocent laughter was enough to pull Lily back, but now, a glint of realization sparkled in her eyes. Soon, baby, she replied, smiling. As Lily took a deep breath, she glanced at Chris, his brow still furrowed with concern. She could feel it, an unmistakable urge to speak openly about her fears. To share everything she had held back. The sound of shoes clicking on the floor pulled her back as Sarah moved toward the exit, a fleeting presence. The real adventure is just beginning, Lily, she said, casting a final glance back. Wait! Lily called out. But it was too late. Sarah was gone, leaving an echo of possibility behind her. Now, all Lily could think about was how to embrace the past and forge a future. With Chris. The heaviness of emotion tingled in the air, thick with both doubt and hope. But what kind of future would await them if she could truly open her heart and face what was buried deep inside? Lily stood at the center of the room, her heart pounding as the vibrant chatter of wedding guests surged around her. She could feel the weight of Sarah's words creeping into her mind like a soft ember igniting a flame. Was it possible that embracing her past could open a pathway to a richer, deeper connection with Chris? Mommy! Emma tugged at her sleeve, her little face scrunched with impatience. Can we go outside? The flowers are so pretty. Just a minute, sweetheart, Lily replied, her voice colored with distraction. She watched as Chris exchanged glances with Jake. There was something unspoken between them, an air of protectiveness that made her uneasy. Did Chris sense her internal struggle? Taking a deep breath, she turned to him. Chris, can we talk? He nodded, his expression softening as he leaned closer. Is everything okay? No, not exactly. She swallowed hard, fighting the urge to retreat into the familiar comfort of silence. There was something surreal about the glittering decorations and the joyful hum of celebration that contrasted sharply with the turmoil in her heart. I'm not sure how to explain what I'm feeling, she hesitated. But I think I need to share my past with you. All of it. His brow furrowed, concern etching deeper lines into his forehead. Lily, we can talk later, after no. I need to do this now. I want us to build something together, and I feel like I'm hiding everything that matters. I can't keep pretending everything is perfect. He took a step closer, his voice low and steady. You can tell me anything. You know that, right? Nodding, she glanced toward Emma, who was swirling in circles with one of the young flower girls, their laughter filling the air. It was blissful and, for a moment, a part of her wished she could sweep it all under the rug, let the fairy tale atmosphere carry them. But her heart demanded honesty, raw and freeing. Before you, I didn't believe I'd ever love again. When Emma was born, everything changed for me, but my past, it's heavy. Her voice began to tremble. There were mistakes, heartbreaks, things I thought I'd buried so I could start fresh. But I realize now, I can't build our future on a foundation of secrets. Chris's expression shifted, concern replaced with curiosity. What kind of secrets? His question hung thick in the air, daunting yet inviting. Could they really dive into this together? I had a relationship before you. It ended badly, she admitted, her stomach flipping. I thought I could just cut it off, but it affected who I am, how I see love. Chris reached for her hand, his touch grounding her. You can't do this alone, Lily. I want to support you, but you have to start trusting me. Not just with the happy parts, but the messy ones too. There it was, a lifeline, a chance to be truly seen, flaws and all. It was terrifying, yet she felt a flicker of resolve. Yes, but it's not just about my past. Before she could finish, the celebratory music blared sharply through the hall, cutting through the moment. Guests began to sway and dance, laughing as they drifted towards the floor, oblivious to the tension. "Let us take a walk," Chris suggested, gently tugging her out of the chaos. With a quick glance back at Emma, who was now happily chatting with Jake, Lily followed him through the grand doors, into the garden where the crisp air swept around them. As they stepped outside, the beauty of the night welcomed them, a blanket of stars twinkling above, the scent of blooming flowers filling the air. For the first time in a long while, Lily felt the butterflies of vulnerability mixed with anticipation. "All right, tell me," Chris prompted, his eyes shining with care. Lily took a deep breath, her heart racing with the weight of her revelation. She was at the edge of something significant, the convergence of past and present. Would this be the moment that transformed everything? A flicker of doubt danced in her mind. Would sharing her truth really bring them closer together, or would it push him away? "The truth is," she began, uncertain yet determined, "I've never fully opened up about why I'm afraid." Little did she know, the wave of honesty she was about to unleash would ripple far beyond her expectations, testing the very bonds of love and trust they had both worked so hard to build. But would they still be standing together after the storm? The cool night air surrounded them, wrapping around Lily like a protective cloak. She could feel her heartbeat echoing in her ears as the words started to shape themselves in her mind. Chris was waiting, his expression unwavering, a source of calm amidst her brewing storm. "I was engaged once," she finally confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. "Before Emma. I thought I was ready for that life, but it all unraveled." Chris's brow furrowed, confusion momentarily clouding his face. "What do you mean, unraveled?" "It was a mess," she admitted, forcing herself to push past the tightness in her throat. "We rushed into everything. We felt invincible. But there were fights, heartbreaks, things that shouldn't have happened. I got lost in it, trying to be something I wasn't. The fear of being left overshadowed anything good we had." As she spoke, the memories flooded back, moments of fiery love intertwined with harsh arguments, the promise of forever tarnished by doubt. Each recollection weighed heavily on her heart. Yet here was Chris, listening intently, not flinching away. "I ended it, but the scars lingered," she continued, her voice trembling. "I thought I could just walk away and start over, but it's never that simple. I brought all that baggage into my life with Emma and into our relationship." Chris took a step closer, his eyes never leaving hers. "You don't have to carry that alone. You have me, remember?" His voice was warm, embodying encouragement wrapped in understanding. "Sometimes I feel like I'm walking on a tightrope," she sighed, frustration creeping into her tone. "What if my fears push you away? What if you find the secrets too heavy to bear?" He paused for a moment, absorbing her fears. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves overhead, nature silently echoing the gravity of their conversation. "Lily, every relationship comes with its weight. It's not about being perfect, it's about being honest with each other. I want to understand you, not just the perfect sides but everything that makes you, you." His words were like a soothing balm, and yet her heart still pounded with uncertainty. "But what if I'm too messy? Then we'll get messy together." He smiled, and it lit up his face. "Love isn't just about sunshine and rainbows. It's also about storms and how you come out the other side." Lily took a deep breath, feeling a flicker of hope ignite inside her. She looked at Chris, his eyes steady, reflecting the sincerity of his promise. Maybe, just maybe, they could forge something beautiful amidst the chaos of their lives. But before she could dive deeper, a shout caught her attention. Emma, with her wild hair and brighter than the sun smile, was running toward them, her tiny hands clutching a bouquet of flowers. "Mommy! Look what I found!" Lily couldn't help but smile at her daughter's innocent excitement. Chris knelt down to Emma's level, a warm grin spreading across his face. "Those are stunning. You're going to be the prettiest flower girl ever. The moment of levity made Lily's heart swell. Here was Chris, not only embracing her past but also weaving himself into the fabric of her present. Could he truly handle all of her? All the fear, the baggage, the scars? Can I give these to you? Emma asked, her big eyes shining with mischief. Of course, Lily replied, kneeling to take the flowers from her daughter. As she held the bouquet, a simple clarity washed over her. Through the laughter, the storm, and the uncertainty, there was beauty blossoming. Still, a gnawing thought clouded her happiness. Could she ever be fully open with Chris? Would her truths strengthen them or shake their foundation? As they walked back toward the celebration, she glanced up at the stars, wondering if they could illuminate the path ahead. Would the truth they shared pave the way for something deeper or shatter their fragile connection? The party was alive with music and laughter as they made their way back. Twinkling lights hung above them, wrapping the yard in a warm glow. Children darted across the grass, and the scent of barbecued chicken mingled with freshly cut flowers. Lily felt a smile tugging at her lips as Emma dashed ahead, negotiating her own little adventures with the grace of innocence. Look, Mommy! I'm a fairy! Emma spun in a circle, the petals from the bouquet fluttering through the air, and every spin seemed to take a piece of Lily's worries with it. Absolutely dazzling! Lily cheered, her heart lifting. Just moments ago, she had shared secrets that felt so heavy. But seeing Emma laugh sent a wave of lightness through her. Chris stood beside her, watching the moment unfold. He caught her eye and smiled, a look of contentment spreading across his face. It was so genuine, so different from anyone else in her past. For the first time in a long while, she couldn't help but feel lighter, as if they were unwinding the threads of their life into a new, colorful tapestry. As they joined the gathering crowd, a familiar face emerged from the mix, a friend of Lily's, Kelly, who approached them with an enthusiastic wave. Hey, Lily! And Chris, right? I've heard so much about you. Only good things, I hope. Chris replied, his charm effortless, turning a simple moment into a spark of warmth. Depends on who's telling them, Kelly winked. But it's so nice to see you both together. You make quite the team. Lily felt heat rise to her cheeks and glanced at Chris, who looked unfazed and relaxed. How could he be so confident? They had just shared vulnerabilities that could easily drown lesser souls. But here he was, basking in the warmth of friendship and camaraderie. Thanks, Kelly. We're learning about teamwork, Lily said, her voice light. If only it were that easy. The weight of unspoken truths still lingered in the background. Speaking of teamwork, I was just talking to a few others about an upcoming community project. We'd love to have you both involved. Kelly continued, drawing them into her enthusiastic vision. Lily felt Chris's hand brush against her back, a simple gesture, but it sent a jolt of reassurance through her. Maybe this was what she needed, a reminder of connection beyond her own fears. As the conversation flowed, laughter resonated, and for a moment, it felt like everything could be normal. But the unresolved question gnawed at her. Could she share her truth in this joyous space without risking the fragile happiness she had begun to feel? Emma returned, cheeks flushed and eyes bright, clutching a cupcake. Mommy! Can we eat dessert now? I'm super-duper hungry. We have to wait a little longer, sweetie, Lily laughed, her heart swelling at Emma's contagious excitement. But that little ember of worry flickered inside her. What if she never found the right moment to share? Chris knelt before Emma, his voice soft. Want to help me make a big decision? What flavor do you think is best? Chocolate or vanilla? Emma thought for a second, then declared chocolate. Always chocolate. Lily's heart swelled as she watched the interaction. There was something so beautiful about Chris with Emma. It was easy, natural, and pure. Yet as she looked at them, an avalanche of doubt crashed over her again. Could Chris handle the truth of her past? The impact it would have on this budding connection? Could she bury the past here at this celebration, or would it one day rise to the surface? As people began to gather around the table for dessert, the colors of the evening transformed into a stunning sunset painted across the sky. It was breathtaking, yet it reminded her of what was to come. Hope you're ready, Chris said, his voice slicing through her thoughts. I think the real mystery is how many cupcakes Emma can eat before she turns into one. Lily chuckled, but her smile was tinged with the weight of unexpressed feelings. What if, amid the sweetness of this moment, the truth tasted a little bitter? They moved towards the table. Laughter surrounded them, but inside Lily fought to quell the storm brewing beneath. Could love really thrive in honesty, or would it be drowned by the truth? As she reached for a cupcake, she knew that soon she would have to make that choice. The cupcake was soft in her fingers, the frosting glistening under the stars like a promise. But even as she raised it to her lips, Lily lingered in the moment, reluctant, torn between savoring the sweetness and confronting the inevitable. Here, let me help you, Chris said, stepping closer with a cupcake of his own. The way he smiled, so genuine, so easy, made the weight of her potential revelation feel like an anchor dragging her down. Ready? He asked, cradling his cupcake like it was the most precious thing in the world. On the count of 3? Okay, she agreed, trying to match his enthusiasm but feeling distinctly aware of the churning in her stomach. 1, 2, 3. They bit into their cupcakes at the same moment, and the laughter that followed felt like the fragile sound of glass tinkling in the air. Emma giggled, chocolate smeared across her cheeks, and in that laughter, Lily found a flicker of something warm, something hopeful. Her heart sped up, and she felt the lingering gaze of Chris on her, watching, waiting. She sensed that he was searching for more than just a silly cupcake moment. The depth of his kindness felt like a blanket, and while she wanted to bask in its warmth, her past loomed over her like a thundercloud. As Emma danced around them, a trail of giggles following in her wake, Kelly joined their group again, her excitement infectious. I can't wait for the project to start. It's going to be so great for the community. And it'll definitely help you guys bond. Sure, Lily nodded, forcing enthusiasm into her tone, but silent screams reverberated in her mind. She felt like a stranger in her own body, watching this life unfold from a distance. The small talk, the laughter, it all felt fragile, like it could shatter if she uttered the wrong words. Lily, Chris remarked gently, breaking what felt like an internal spell. You're quiet. Everything okay? His gaze pierced through her facade. She froze, and the cupcake trembled in her grasp. Would this be the moment? Would she let the truth tumble free? Oh, just enjoying the moment, she managed, smile faltering against the heaviness clawing at her chest. Mommy! Can we play tag after dessert? Emma interjected, and with her bubbling innocence, there was no way to answer anything but yes. Of course, sweetie. Just give me a minute, Lily replied, her heart catching at Emma's sheer radiance. But in that heartbeat, deep inside, a quiet voice whispered, You're still avoiding the truth. Let us get through this first, Chris said as he took a step back with another cupcake, eyes sparkling with mischief. He seemed oblivious to her inner turmoil, basking in the joy of the celebration. But Lily knew that eventually, she would have to shift the tides of their relationship. As Emma whirled away, the adults shared jokes and stories, the air thick with camaraderie, yet Lily was miles away, her heart wrestling with itself. The moment was intoxicating, delicious, and yet, all the sweetness in the world wouldn't mask what she had done, nor could it hide the truth she carried. Hey, I've got an idea! Chris called out, waving his arms to gather attention. Let us finish dessert, and then head to the park for a little night adventure. Who's in? The energy surged. Laughter echoed. Emma bounced, her eyes wide with wonder, and Lily felt her heart swell. But with every giggle, every cheer, the truth pressed heavier against her chest. Just one more moment, she thought, clinging to the laughter like a lifeline. But a part of her screamed, at what cost? As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with shadows, a thought tightened in her stomach. What if the truth brought not ruin but release? A chance to break free of the chains binding her to the past? The choice loomed as they prepared to head to the park, and Lily hesitated. Could she strip away the layers hiding her heart? Or would she always stay stuck in this cycle of joy tinged with fear? As they moved toward the exit, she caught Chris's gaze, steady and unwavering. Are you ready for an adventure? He asked, and the moment hung beautifully in the air. I think I am, she whispered, uncertainty mingling with a flicker of courage. But was she truly ready for the adventure awaiting them, where she would finally dare to reveal the truth? The answer to that was yet to come. The park glowed under the moonlight, a magical setting crafted for new beginnings. Laughter swirled through the air like the delicate fragrance of flower blossoms. Jake watched as Emma darted off, her tiny feet carrying her toward the swings. His heart swelled with pride. This was the life he had fought for, a world where Emma could embrace joy. Lily stood beside Chris, her emotions dancing on the edge of revelation and fear. They watched Emma soar, her laughter brightening the night. But beneath that joy, Lily felt a stirring inside, a wish to set herself free from the weight of her past. "Are you ready for this?" Chris asked softly. The concern was evident in his eyes, and for the first time, Lily felt their connection pulse with honesty, not the surface-level comfort she had clung to. "Yes," she replied, her voice steadier than her heart. She took a breath, the cool air grounding her, lifting her resolve. She was ready to face her fears, ready to reveal the shadows that had been eating away at her happiness. As Emma giggled while flying through the air on the swings, Lily turned to Chris. "Can we sit for a minute?" They settled onto a park bench, and the world around them faded. The stars twinkled above, mirroring the flutter of her heart. "I know I've been closed off," she began, her voice small yet determined. "But it's important to me that you know everything, all the messy parts." Chris listened closely, his posture encouraging her to continue. She hesitated, the words suppressing the anxiety bubbling within. "I was engaged before you. It was a whirlwind romance, and I thought I could build a future. But it ended in heartbreak and confusion. I made mistakes. I thought I could just move on without addressing the scars." Tears threatened to spill, but she pushed through. The aftermath was painful. "I was terrified of opening up again." When Chris reached for her hand, warmth spread through her. "You don't have to carry that alone, Lily. I want to share everything with you. The good, the bad, and yes, even the messy parts." His sincerity washed over her like a healing balm, and she felt that weight in her chest begin to dissolve. "I'm scared that my past will chase you away," she admitted. "That you won't want to deal with the fallout of my choices." "Lily," Chris said, squeezing her hand, "you are not your past. Your history doesn't define you. It shapes you. And I want every piece of you." In that moment, the walls that she had built began to crumble. With a shaky breath, she found the courage to look him in the eyes, seeing nothing but kindness and encouragement reflected back at her. "I want to build a future with you," she whispered, and at that, Chris smiled. A smile that could light up the darkest fears. Just then, Emma dashed toward them, a wild flurry of joy. "Mommy! Come play tag!" Her innocent excitement felt like a gentle nudge, reminding Lily of the beauty in living fully without fear. "All right, let us play," Lily called back as her heart soared. She stood up, pulling Chris with her. The celebration felt euphoric. As they raced across the grass, laughter spilled into the night, washing away the remnants of doubt. They played beneath the stars, swinging Emma into the air and running in circles. In those moments, with every burst of laughter, Lily felt the healing power of vulnerability. Chris enveloped her in play, holding her hand as they chased after Emma, laughter pouring like sunlight through the cracks of her past. For the first time, Lily felt unburdened. When the night came to a close, they gathered on the grass, a picturesque sight against the backdrop of the shimmering stars. "I've always wanted to create something beautiful," Lily said softly. "And I think we can do that, face the past together, and embrace the future." Chris smiled at her, the warmth in his eyes radiating safety and understanding. "With you, I can face anything. Let us make our story real," he replied, and with that, for the first time, Lily felt that love could truly grow from the messiness of life. As they enveloped Emma in an embrace, Lily looked up at Chris. In that moment, surrounded by the remnants of laughter, she realized love didn't need to be perfect. It just needed to be real, and they were building something beautiful not alone, but together. Now, it was time to share their unique legacy, not just as individuals but as a family woven together through honesty and connection. So here's the moment. If you felt the power of this story, you need to subscribe to the channel now. Hit that bell to never miss out on the exclusive stories coming your way. Leave a like now to help me feed the algorithm and keep the inspiration alive. And please comment below your thoughts and feelings about this incredible ending. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. Your support matters and it makes all the difference. Don't wait not even one more second to show your love for this community.